Sanibona, ngaphambi singene kwivideo namuhla, ngithi angithathe lethuba ngibonge isupport nothando nesikhombise lona lingaphezulu kokucabanga kwethu. Siyacela niqhubeke nisupporte njalo ngokubuka amavideo ethu, ungakhohlwa ukukhomenta, ushare, ulike. Siyafisa ukuzwa umbono wakho. Sicela ke singene kwivideo namuhla. Double sematheni kulezi insuku udaba lika Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi nezinto azikhulumile njengoba bekathula ubufakazi bakhe. Kunento ayishiloko ethinta imedia. Ngifisa nje kule video manje sike sikhulume ngale zinto lezo. Lapha athinte khona ukuthi amanye ama-journalist ayasetshenziswa. Iphuzu lokuqala leli efuneka sidlule kulo ukuthi amanye ama-journalist ayasetshenziswa. Okwesibili, Fadiel Adams uphinde wenza enye video futhi. Futhi ngiyabona ukuthi iyamshisa lento emshisayo, ngeke akafuni ngisho ukulinda ukuthi ayovela phambi kweCommission akwazi ukuzikhulumela. Ufuna ukuthi alobe ekhuluma ku-social media. Sizobheka le ndaba ezimbili. Uzokhumbula ukuthi uGeneral Sibiya wafaka icala enkantolo. Angisazi lali mayelana nani. Kwakhona intatheli eyabhalela uMkhwanazi iWhatsApp yambuza ukuthi kuthini ukuphawula kwakhe. uMkhwanazi wayibuza ukuthi ungene ngaphi yena endabeni ezenziwa uSibiya noma nayo iyabenefita kwile drug cartel. Kwakubi lokho kwabanye abantu. Ngiyakhumbula nje ukuthi uClement wakukhuluma ngakho ukuthi hayi impendulo kaMkhwanazi ayimjabulisanga ukuthi ungasuggest ukuthi ijournalist liyingxenye na. Kodwa emveni kokuba uMkhwanazi ekhulumile angenze kanje, angikucaphunela uMkhwanazi ekhuluma ngama-journalist bese ngikuvezela ukuthi yona leyo journalist ibhala ukuthini ngomkhwanazi.
The system of protecting the drug squad, media plays part. Let me rephrase. Journalists within media houses, they are part of this in pushing certain narrative. Why I say this is because a very well-known veteran, Mzilikazi of Africa, had contacted me almost immediately after this incident happened of Impangeni. It happened beginning of the year last year. I think a month or so, he contacted me. He can come here and confirm that. He called me, contacted me, said, Gerald, I'm hearing that you interfered with the police operation. And what is going on? So I explained to him the details of what transpired. He understood. Then he said, okay, well, there's some stories and there's nothing wrong. So he did not publish that. Later in the year, which I suppose maybe this why Mkhwanazi is coming to me with this, is that first General Nhlanhla calls me, he's a former minister, he calls me and he says the Premier of Gauteng have approached him to go and work in Gauteng to help him fight crime in Gauteng. Therefore, he needs General Khumalo, who is a district commissioner and ex-task force commander in KZN, to come and work with him in Gauteng. And I find it strange because I think he called 2 or 3 times. While I was in a meeting, I kept giving the phone to one brigadier who was with me in the meeting. And after that, I had a conversation with General Nhlanhla, and then he pleaded with me to release this general to come to Gauteng. And my surprise was, but when General Nhlanhla was in the police, he did not like that General Khumalo. He didn't like him at all. So why now that he's out of the police, he trust Khumalo to come and work with him in Gauteng? It was just strange. And I turned to my colleague, General Nhlanhla, who was with me in a meeting. This was in Durban. General Nhlanhla works at the head office from HR. So I turned to her and said, but I received a strange call here. General Nhlanhla is asking me to approach Khumalo, who's a district commissioner in Zululand, to come and work with him in Gauteng, meaning he must resign from the police and go and work in Gauteng with him for 5 years, then he'll come back into the police, which was very odd. And General Nhlanhla was also confused. He said, but as far as I know, Nhlanhla didn't like Khumalo. And he made all of us at the head office to believe that Khumalo is a bad person. Why will he now suddenly want Khumalo to work with him? So it was just a strange call. I then contacted General Khumalo. He's a major general. I phoned General Khumalo. I said, General Khumalo, this is a request I received from General Nhlanhla. General Khumalo just laughed and he said, oh, well, don't worry. The general is not serious about that. So I asked him, what do you mean? He said, no, it's not serious. He wants me to back off on the case against Khan, General Khan from Crime Intelligence. So Cele is pursuing Khumalo to resign from the police so that he can stay away from the disciplinary case because he was appointed to deal with that case departmentally against General Khan. So Khumalo says, no, this is the approach of Cele to want me to back off. And that got me so upset, commissioners, that can really General Cele go to the extent of wanting a person to resign from the service because he wants to protect someone? It was very strange. I did not talk to General Cele from the day. I did not talk to him. I was very upset. It disappointed me as a person who's a former minister in the police. I was just upset.
I-journalist yokuqala nansi uyisenior reporter e-Sunday Times uHendrick angikwazi ukufunda lesibongo sakhe. I-title ye-article yakhe ethi Mkhwanazi wrap up testimony but where is evidence? Umbuza obuzayo. Article yesibili ibhalwe i-Times Live. Ithi after 75 days the KZN Police Commissioner's claims of corruption and infiltration in the criminal justice system by organized crime syndicate still lack hard proof. Kube News 24 ibhale kanje yona. Mkhwanazi makes sweeping accusations of criminal capture but where is evidence? Lena ibhalwe ilaba abayi-2 Bernadette Weeks kanye no Karen Morgan noma Magen angiwazi ufunda lamagama futhi nabo ngeke baze balifunda igama lami kahle kuyafana. Same journalist ngey-4 kaSeptember 2018 uthi evidence against Zuma mounts but he is staying out of the commission's fray. So ngesikhathi kunezondo commission noma yini eyishiwo ngoZuma according to lo Karen wakhona noma yini eyishiwo ngoZuma sesikhathi yayi evidence kodwa noma yini eshiwo Mkhwanazi manje ayiyona evidence. There is no hard proof. This is interesting. This is very very interesting. Angazi noma uyayibona nalento ngey-4 kaSeptember noma yini eyishiwo kuzondo commission wayibhala yena as if evidence kodwa noma yini eshiwo Mkhwanazi kule nsuku ezedlule kusuka mhla ka-17 18 no-19 akusi evidence. Accusations allegations, there is no hard proof. Khumbula utheni Mkhwanazi ngama-journalist asetshenziswa i-drug syndicate noma asebenzela i-drug syndicate asiqhubeke. Journalist ebengikutshela ngayo eyabhalela Mkhwanazi wayibuza ukuthi ayiyona nengxenye ye-drug yama-journalist asetshenziswa i-drug syndicate ile u-Abraham Mashego. Lana ubhala ukuthi ubhala into esho senza umcuno ukuthi Mkhwanazi took me by surprise. Yakhumbula Mkhwanazi uthi ukhulume ngale story ukuthi kune-journalist umzilekazi owamfonela wambuzisisa wathola ukuthi there is no story kodwa khona lapho kwakhona i-journalist evele ipublishe so story ingazange yambuza nokuthi kwenzakaleni. Ukhulumile ngalento le. Buka ukuthi i-journalist yayibhale kanjani. Mkhwanazi accused of protecting drug peddling prisons official from arrest. Sibhalo Abraham Mashego. Yamkhumbula Abraham Mashego? Ilo ngithe wafonela Mkhwanazi. Uye lo wabhala istory engazange wambuza and ukhulumile Mkhwanazi ngobubi balento eyenzakala nanokuthi kudala mopho umonakalo kwi-reputation yakhe.
Actually, I received a phone call from the very same journalist, Mzilazo Africa. His call was, you remember the story I asked you about of what happened in Bangin? I said, yes. He said, but my colleague has just approached me, confronted me about that story and is asking him, why didn't he publish the story? And he said, no, but there was no story there. I listened to this thing and it just didn't make sense. Somebody is trying to peddle and frame General Mkhwanazi for nothing, so I didn't publish this. And in his own words to me, Mzilazo Africa was, this colleague of his says to him, now I'm forced to publish the story. And Mzilazo found it strange, so he called me first. He said, hey, who did you upset somewhere in the police? Then I said, no, I don't know anything. They said, but is anything happening in the police that will lead people to want to publish this thing that is a year later, so old, they want to publish? Then I said, Well, the only thing I know is that I'm going to be presiding over a disciplinary case. So he asked me, whose disciplinary case is that? I told him it's for General Khan. He said, oh, no, now I connect the dots. Because my colleague and General Khan are close. It could be coming from there. That is his words. Mziligas will come here and say that. But I told him that I'm going to talk about this. He said, no, if he's called here, he will come and talk about it. I know who the colleague is. I'm not going to say it in public. He will perhaps, if you want to divulge that, he will. That's why I'm saying there are players within the media houses that are part of. So shortly after that, I received a message from the very same colleague of Mziligas. He sent me a question about the same incident. I gave him a full explanation as I did here to Bran Mkhwanazi. A full explanation. A logic journalist will have understood and said, okay, well, this is just a malicious thing, and don't publish that. But that find itself to the newspaper on a Sunday. Commissioners, it is fair. That's why I like the investigative journalists. I think they're credible because they investigate first before they talk. I like the ones on TV behind cameras because they give it as is. The others that will just get information from others and write it becomes question marks, which what happened to this one.
And which Sunday publication was there?
I know the name of the journalist. I cannot remember exactly the Sunday, the paper. I don't want to, I might end up being sued if I mention the wrong name here. But I know the name of the journalist, so I can give you the name of the journalist.
You said you are not divulging it.
Yeah, I'll give you the name of the journalist, you'll write, and you'll see the trend throughout, up to now. It's the same journalist that is part of the squad. Well, there are others that are linked with him, but he's the main one. So the story goes out, commissioners, to the newspaper. It's an allegation that was made by Mkhwanazi that someone wants to open a case against me. Now, in the newspaper is my full picture there. And the big heading, allegations against General Mkhwanazi defeating, and they write a story of what happened. They, of course, write my response. So, but the problem is, it is my face there, not the complainant. It's my face that is there. The heading creates question marks about my integrity as a person, as a senior officer in the province. They put my full response on the paper. So a person who reads the paper will get to understand the context of this heading and the story. They will be fine with it. But for you to get into a newspaper, must subscribe, must pay money. Some of us don't necessarily subscribe to papers. But there is social media that is free. Now, on the social media, they take the heading because you are limited on what you write in there. They take the heading of allegations that General Mkhwanazi is accused of defeating end of justice against a drug dealer at Kalagabusha. And that goes into their media account, social media account. And that which spreads like wildfire because people access it easy. Remember, they don't have a privilege of reading the full report that is on the paper. They are just taking it from this headline. And the picture is painted. That Mkhwanazi is a bad person.
Nawu Abraham istory usikhiphile umbuzo efuna sizibuze wona obani laba babempressurize ukuthi akasikhipe le story akasipublish ngobani even though sekamfonelile uMkhwanazi waba ne full story kodwa wayasibhale ngalendlela asibhale ngayo njengoba ethi uMkhwanazi lento iyayidamage reputation yakhe nje njengomuntu njengephoyisa iyayidamage reputation yakhe indlela lo muntu abhale ngayo siyazi ukuthi i-title kwesinye isikhathi iyona eyenza ukuthi ube nama-views. Ngiyaqonda lokho njengomuntu owenza lama video, ngiyaqonda lokho. Faith Mangope lo osebenzela iMetro FM ureplye nansi ipost ebhalwe Time Lives. Ipost eTime Lives ithi KZN top Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi ended his much anticipated testimony at the Madlanga Commission after 3 days this week, leaving many decidedly unsatisfied by a lack of solid evidence. Then uFaith Maga responda kanje wathi, I understand why many South Africans do not trust the media. I don't remember such skepticism during the Zondo Commission. Did Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi not say his colleague who will be interviewed will bring the evidence as well? Did he not present text messages, letters? My gosh, it's only the first week and we're already casting doubts on someone who, as a high-ranking police official, not citizen, but police official, has been brave enough to speak up against alleged crime syndicates and drug cartels running our country. So we must basically cast doubt on a police officer? No man, this is not it. Ngikufakela ipost ngakuvezela ukuthi same journalist yayibhala ukuthini ngesikhathi sezondo commission, same journalist. Kodwa ngesikhathi yonke into yayikhulunywa kuzondo commission mayike yafaka igama likaZuma nje kwakuyi-evidence. Kodwa namhlanje noma yini ekhulunywayo eshiwo Mkhwanazi bathi there is no hard proof, there is no evidence. Ilento eshiwo Faith ukuthi useyasibona nasizathu kungani abantu bengasayithembi media. And labantu bemedia bayi-understand lento ukuthi abantu abaningi manje babalekela ku-YouTube kulama channel ngoba okwamanje ama-channel lawa awaka-capture abantu abathize, asadelive izinto zinjengoba zinjalo. Siyazi ukuthi ikhona i-propaganda, kodwa esikhathini esiningi iningi lama-channel elikhona mali kupha ama-analysis asoba. Ngikwenzele example, uma umuntu olandela ipolitiki bese ulandela uSisu Zizipho, uyamazi ukuthi uyimember i-EFF, noma yini azokutshela yona i-EFF iqondile, noma yini azokutshela yona ngenye political party, uzobe bias cause uthanda i-EFF, uzobe against leyo political party, uyakwazi lokho. But sinabantu wazi ukuthi mangibukele SMWX Dr Sizwe Mpofu, ngibukela uMighty Jam, ngizothola information injengoba injalo. Yingakho abantu sebeze beprefera lawo ma-platform. Maningi ama-platform, ngibala nje lawa amabili ngoba ama-platform lawa alethi information eqondile kubantu. So asidlulele phambili ke singene nodabeni kaFadiel Adams uze ukuthi uphendule wathini. Emveni kwalapho siyivala ivideo, ngiyacela ukuze ukuphawula kwakho.
Hi guys, excuse my chest man, flu still not lifted. So, apparently, people want me to be charged for laying charges against those generals for information that wasn't supposed to be in my possession, and that's 100% okay. I'll face whatever sanction, I'll face whatever charges, I'll serve whatever sentence, it's fine. I'm prepared. You people clearly don't do your research well. Go back into my videos of about a year ago. I said that they'd come for me. I said that there'd be repercussions. I said I expected the worst. I'm okay. Here's the act that I transgressed. I transgressed the certain police generals plunder with impunity act. That act. I also transgressed the don't steal our fucking tax money act. I also transgressed the can we have a better, more functioning police services act. Those are the acts that I totally obliterated. And for this, you can hang me. But if you people think that I'm one of those people that will do this while people are stealing from the poorest of the poor, you got another thing coming. You got to throw the book at me. You clearly haven't done your research. Mkhwanazi fans, come up, we need to talk. Okay, not so near also. I might just catch some stupidity. Listen to me carefully. I laid a charge. Me. 7 people are arrested. The NPA found 7 people have a case to answer for in relation to fraud, corruption, nepotism, like of the highest order. Like, when I tell you millions, just wait for it to roll out in court. Mkhwanazi has a problem with this. That's his shit. I don't report to Mkhwanazi. But here's a quick question for you. If you people are pro Mkhwanazi and subscribe to the view that these generals must not be held accountable, that they must appear before HR, not court, you are in direct conflict with what the NPA is saying. The NPA is saying there's a prima facie case that these people may have stolen from you, from your poor relatives. And the direct impact of this is it's a spike in crime. You're stealing police money. If you're stealing police money, the force is going to suffer, and obviously criminals benefit. Now, if you're okay with that, raise your hand. Let me see. Let me see. The same people complaining about crime are the people willing to crucify me for laying a charge against alleged criminals. South Africa is a movie. So I got a couple of questions for the savior of the nation, known as Mkhwanazi. But let's just give it a minute. Let's just wait for other people to join. And before you come for me, because I see people are coming for me, without knowing all of the facts, I invite you to listen. Listen. I understand that South Africa is in need of a savior. Hell, I'm also looking to the mountains because God knows we need a savior. Our police force is in shambles. Our government's in a state. The rand is plummeting. The president is endorsing the opposition. It's a mess. But let's just give it a minute. I have a few pointers. I have certain things that you guys need to just think about. And you must also understand that you really actually need to apply your mind for what I'm about to say. Let me just get up the sun. So my name was dropped by General Mkhwanazi yesterday in the committee. And I've got no problem with my name being dropped, but I do take advice and criticism from where it comes. So to all of those people that are accepting everything that this great general says is truth, here's a couple of things I want you to think. Think about it, don't answer. Or don't think about it because it becomes apparent people don't think, they react. Was it Fadiel Adams or General Mkhwanazi that was accused of accepting Louis Vuitton bags from a South African police services vendor? I'd like to know what happened to that case. IPID was supposed to investigate that case and come back to us with recommendations and findings. I've searched. I don't see no recommendations and I see no findings. It's as if the case disappeared. Then there was also an allegation, I believe, about an overseas trip. IPID was supposed to investigate that as well. And I don't see it there. Now, I'm not accusing the general of anything. I'm making it plain that if you're going to accuse me or drop names or anything like that, because I'm being linked to criminal cartels and God weet wat, and I'm looking at where this information is coming from and I'm going like, no man. I'd like to know how many cases IPID was investigating about General Mkhwanazi, and I'm actually going to ask, and I'm going to ask for outcomes and findings and recommendations. And if the general has been found innocent by IPID, then IPID must tell us. Then IPID must tell us. But here's the clanger. General Mkhwanazi, you need to tell South Africa, as the police commissioner for the for KZN, is your security clearance in order? Has it been in order since 2018? Because one of my big fights in the police portfolio was the vetting of police generals. Because the information I have at my disposal tells me that more than half of the police commissioners are acting and operating without security clearance. Now, understand, I'm going to the commission, Tulani. Believe me, I'm going to the commission. Does General Mkhwanazi, is he authorized to have top secret documents? Does he have security clearance? If these allegations that he's making and the evidence that he says that he has is of a top secret level, is Mkhwanazi authorized to have it? And if not, who gave it to him? Because I can tell you now, we got a problem. So General Mkhwanazi, savior of the nation, the man who's going to save SAPS, we have a question. Are you authorized to act in that position with the proper security checks? And then the overriding question. I think if you ask South Africans today what they think of former Police Minister Bheki Cele, I think the overwhelming number of people are going to have very, very negative responses to the name Bheki Cele. Can I ask General Mkhwanazi why in all his years as a police general he's never ever once criticized Bheki Cele as far as I know? But when it came to Senzo Mkhwanazi's chance upturn, you called the press conference. Now, I'm not batting for Senzo Mkhwanazi. As a matter of fact, I'm very disappointed by the things that I've heard. And if there's any truth in it, then Senzo Mkhwanazi must face the law. He must face the courts and he must face the commission. No one's covering up for him. Morning. Here's my favorite person. Favorite. How are you, sweetheart? You good? Nice to see you, man. So, quick question. If you were so quick to throw the book and the proverbial kitchen sink at Minister Mkhwanazi, why have you never criticized Becky Cele with all the scandals that were hanging over him? I mean, this is the man who some people would claim is single-handedly responsible for the mess that we're in, with his political appointments, with his wrongful appointments and all that type of crap. So, is it because you're one of those appointments, General? Because the South African Police Service is messed, guys. It's gone. It's finished. There's nothing left of it. And now we have a man here claiming to be the savior of SAPS. Well, people are claiming that he's the savior of SAPS. But the overarching question is, are you legally qualified to be in that position, General? Do you have the security clearances that allow you to be in possession? Yes, but are you allowed to be in possession of those top secret documents? Because according to you, Fadiel Adams is in possession of top secret documents unlawfully. But it would appear so are you. Fadiel Adams should never have laid up criminal charges. This is according to you. But when you had top secret documentation and information, you called the press conference. Who are you trying to fool? Not all of us are stupid. Look, man, I tell you again, you got 399 MPs in Parliament that appear to be afraid of you. I'm not one of them. I'm looking forward to my chance to come and appear before this commission.
Before ngivale video, ngiyafisa ukuthi ngiveze ukuthi le claim eyayisho Paula Sullivan yebhek eLouis Vuitton aphiwa yona uGeneral Mkhwanazi le amsuwela yona for defamation ukuthi ngikucaphunela iclip ngizokurecordela yona cause angidownloadanga ivideo khona ngizorecord iclip la izosho khona uPaula Sullivan ukuthi kwayona lonto le wayeyithathaphi yena ukuthi wayeyithathaphi ngizokurecordela le bese siyayivala le video ukuthi ngintenza ukuthi ngirecord ukuthi uFadel ubuza ngayo.
Strangely enough, I've got some news clippings going back some years, and there's one from IOL, which at the time it was called The Star. In fact, the Star is still running. And in 2012, The Star published a story about how Mkhwanazi and Masemola had it on their toes with 35 million rand of taxpayer money on luxury cars. Now, if I quote from a newspaper article, why didn't he sue the journalist of that newspaper article back in 2012, 13 years ago? And that's what he's suing me for today. That's very strange, isn't it?
This is so interesting. uPaula Sullivan ekhuluma neNewsroom Africa ngeyi6 azangasho ukuthi wafunda iarticle. Wakhuluma njengomuntu owaziyo ukuthi uMkhwanazi wanikezwa ibag yeLouis Vuitton wazi nokuthi leyo bag wayinikezwa unkosikazi wakhe. Kodwa namhlanje usethi lonto leyo yayibhalwe ku-The Star ingakabi IOL njengoba sekuyi-IOL namuhla. Okusho ukuthi lento akhala ngayo uMkhwanazi yama journalist akusinto yamanje into endala. Kuyivideo edlule ngengakwenzela ngengakuvezela ama-post ayibhalwa yilo mama lo we-DA khohle igama lakhe lo kodwa uMkhwanazi akhulume ngayo ukuthi uyimember ye-standing committee on intelligence obekungafanelanga share information ngakuvezela izinto ayezibhala ephepheni kudala ngomkhwanazi ngayo 2012 athi uMkhwanazi fanele resign ebala zonke izinto lezi. So lama journalist akhala ngawo uMkhwanazi akusinto ayiqala manje into endala. Uyakhumbula ukuthi ngikuvezele into ezimbili ezehlukene, ngikuvezele into ayibhalwa ama journalist ngesikhathi sezondo commission ukuthi yonke into yayishiwo lapha uma nje ifake igama lika Zuma kwakuthiwa le nto le evidence, kodwa manje kuthiwa no there's no hard proof. Asibambe ivideo ngicela ukuze ukuphawula kwakho la ku comment section. Mina nawe bese sidibana kwi video elandelayo ngasupporta ngokujoin membership. ungasupporta ngokusidonatela noma ngamalini. Ikhona account kwi-comment ephiniwe.